330% recommended daily vitamin.
Mr. Stern, all night every night. Don't be soft. A great now.
Rage! Fury! Carnage! Rude! Follow your instincts!
Soy is still machismo, an explosion of taste.
Rage! Fury! Carnage! Rude! Follow your instincts!
Soy is still machismo, an explosion of taste. Soy is still
Rage! Fury! Carnage! Rude! Follow your instincts!
Don't make trouble. Be the trouble. There's smoke from this fire.
Welcome to the N54 News World Report. I'm Jillian Jordan. Scientists from Biodyne Systems have announced a breakthrough in the fight against multiple sclerosis. MS is one of the few diseases that cannot be cured by replacing the affected tissue with implant technology. But the experts at Biodyne have created nanites that, when injected into the spinal cord, provide long-term uninterrupted repair to the neural tissue. The cost of this cutting-edge therapy treatment has been listed at €700,000 per month. For the second consecutive week, the landfill inferno in the remnants of Atlantic City continues to rage on. The 10,000-acre dumping ground ranks among the world's largest and contains both toxic and biological waste. Already 7 firefighters combating the blaze have died, and another 40 have suffered from severe burns and toxin exposure. The Swedish Academy Award for Literature has announced its latest recipient, Virginia Grantchester, citing her most recent book, In the Shade of an Apple Tree, as a treasure of this generation. Grantchester, who is an AI created by Raven Microcybernetics, has been lauded for several of her works over the years. Her first novel, Requiem for a Samurai, which was published in 70 languages simultaneously, sold over 3 million copies. In the Shade of an Apple Tree is a drama set in 20th century Ireland and is already considered a masterpiece of post-collapse literature. This has been your World Report. Thank you for tuning in to N54 News. Welcome to N54. It's time for your local news. Violence continues to plague the Badlands. Shootings have been reported along the 166, and 101. Eyewitness accounts point to inter-clan disputes. Attacks on unaffiliated persons has not exceeded the average. However, in an abundance of caution, the NCPD has raised the threat level to 2, advising travelers to avoid side roads. We'll continue to keep you informed as the situation develops.
don't make trouble. Be trouble. There's smoke. This fire.
Last year, the City Council of Night City absolved 32 corporations from their income tax obligations. Among them were Tao, Arasaka, More Technologies, and Dialogue. Put together, the gross income of these companies runs into tens of trillions of euro dollars. The catastrophic City of Opportunity bill has 99 to 1 against. I was that one voice of dissent. Do I need to show you what'll happen to this bill if you, the people of Night City, choose me as your mayor? My name is Jefferson Rollins, and I approve this message.
Hello and welcome to N54 News. We begin with distressing reports from the Badlands. A Militech humanitarian convoy was attacked by a ruthless band of nomad outlaws. Corporate security forces responded with force only as a last resort after their escape route had been cut off. Although several Militech vehicles suffered damage, the nomads have failed to open them. Reinforcements called to the attack site managed to repel the assailants and secure the transport's cargo. Unfortunately, approximately a dozen employees were killed in the assault, including veteran of the Unification War and Crimson Heart recipient Linda Nopes. To the families of those who perished, we at N54 News offer our sincerest condolences. With the NCPD's cooperation, Militech has already announced a retaliatory strike on nearby nomad camps. We continue our coverage after the break.
psychiatry and cybernetics. Spoiler alert, he's a smart guy. Please welcome Ivan Guerrero!
I'm truly flattered, Mr. Q. Greetings to all in Night City.
Am I right in saying you're a cyberpsychosis therapist?
That's correct.
So how are things in the Mac stack?
Good one, Mr. Q. I actually work in the Oak Ridge Hospital.
Well, you sure are a funny guy, Ivan. Let's go back to basics, shall we? Just what is cyberpsychosis?
It's a spectrum of psychological disorders caused by cybernetic implantation.
But look, I've got 7 implants myself, and I haven't completely lost my mind, though my ex-wife would probably disagree.
Everyone has their own breaking point. Some patients get symptoms after their first implant. Others remain in perfect psychological health even after what we call a full-body convert.
Fascinating. So tell us, Doc, what causes cyberpsychosis?
Well, it depends on a lot of things, but the most vulnerable are undoubtedly those who display antisocial tendencies.
What if implants aren't the real problem? I mean, sooner or later, wouldn't those kinds of people snap by themselves?
Interesting question, Mr. Q. In all fairness, there are prominent voices in the scientific community who claim we're confusing correlation with cause and effect. Some go even further and say that cyberpsychotic attacks are a manifestation of societal degradation, like mass shootings once were. Only difference now is that people don't just have a gun. They've got implants to murder others.
And what's your personal opinion, Ivan?
I'd start by saying that there's an indisputable connection between cybernetification and psychological disorders. We've seen this with rats. When we replace 1/3 of their body with cybernetic equivalents, they become 5 times more likely to display psychotic tendencies than the control.
Sheesh! Well, I just hope I don't meet any of those cyber rats in the subway.
But, and I can't stress this enough, disorders are a product of one's cultural surroundings. They don't necessarily lead to violence.
Well, now wait a sec. You're saying that cyberpsychos are violent because...
Because our society is obsessed with violence. You could even say we glorify it.
Fascinating. Now, Ivan, let's say I've got a few implants and I'm worried I'm starting to feel some symptoms. What should I do?
Well, the good news is that a treatment exists, and so far it's effective. We call it brain dance neuro reintegration. Over a few dozen sessions, we subject a patient's cortical nodes to intense stimuli, recovering positive attributes like obedience, docility, sociability.
Just say it, Doc. You're giving them shock.
I beg your pardon? That's not what I said. You're putting words in my...
Is that so? Well, our next guest, Joyce Wright, wants to give you a piece of her mind, about this so-called therapy. We're about to get mental, folks, right after this short break.
Provides 330% recommended daily vitamin.
Satisfy your instincts.
name is Arif Iqbal, and you're watching WNS News. The 27th Annual Conference of the Implant Manufacturers Association recently came to a close. One of the hottest topics discussed was the ever-increasing rate of cyber psycho attacks. Over the last decade, the number of incidents has increased as much as 43%. Lamar Kalinsky, association chairman, emphasized that it isn't the implants who kill people, but the individuals themselves who misuse their products. A fair point, Mr. Kalinsky. In Antony, just outside of Paris, dangerous left-wing political extremist Thomas Clichy was finally apprehended. Clichy has sowed unrest for years, urging European governments to restore pensions, annuities, and social benefits, despite arguments from most economists that such changes would sink GDP growth rates. Clichy faces up to 40 years in prison and is subject to brain dance rehabilitation therapy. In the world of shipping, many ask, when will our oceans be open to us again? In the wake of the Red Decade, key shipping channels remain littered with undetonated explosives, and rogue autonomous submarines continue to attack freight vessels on the open seas. With shipping restricted to ground and air, transport costs have ballooned by more than 3,000%, which in turn has severely slowed the global economy. The governments of the world must step up to the task of opening our oceans for business once more. Call your representative today. Thank you for tuning in to WNS News. See you next time.
Don't make trouble. Be the trouble. Their smell is fire.
Tianjia, come quiet,
Some scalp paste from a tube, meat spray, yellow tap water, and canned high fructose syrup. What do you think they give to people living in the co-op villages? I tell you, rare steaks and lobsters on silver platters, wired bottles from a time without constant acid rain. You'll say it's always been this way. The rich and the poor, the miserable and the contented. At least back in the good old days, everyone was equal in the face of death. The fates snipped your thread, and Charon took you across the river Styx for a single oboe. My, how things have changed. The rich have boosted their lifespans by years, decades, even centuries. They've swapped their organs for implants, cured cancer with nanites, exchanged their wrinkles and flaps for sin skin. But oh no! They won't stop there! Arasaka has made a new biochip! Relic, storing a real human being's consciousness, their memory, knowledge, everything but their flesh and blood. But what's a body nowadays if not a dry, disgusting cocoon from which our real selves, enhanced, modified, immortal, are supposed to emerge? It's the end of death! That's what the relic is! The top 1% of the 1% are using it to build their own paradise on Earth. Except, instead of St. Peter, there's a terminal showing the price of your soul! And what about the rest of us gray, ordinary night citizens? While they're living in their pristine glass skyscraper Wake up, people! It's the millionaires of this world that need a good shove!
Thank you for joining us on WNS News. We begin today with a look at the local news. Arasaka Corp has signed a cooperation agreement with Night City University. Professors and students now have the option to acquire an Arasaka Ozukumi SX cognitive implant on loan at a 20% discounted rate. Sources tell us installation of the implant will become a requirement for all faculty and enrolled students before long. In a troubling turn, 12 fatalities have been reported in Vista del Rey. City coroners have confirmed botulism as the cause of death. It appears the common thread between all the victims is the same type of canned meat. The NCPD urges everyone to purchase meat only from approved culinary labs. Meat butchered from natural sources is likely to contain harmful toxins and pathogens. After botulism, the next bug Night City will catch is Lizzie Wizzy Fever, as she announces her upcoming concert series. The world-renowned singer and artist is due to visit Night City soon. Tickets will only be available for purchase to those with a credit rating above 700. For all of Lizzie Wizzy's other fans, the concert will be available to view through domestic feeder units. And that's your latest, Night City. Until next time.
Some of the world's latest snippets for a segment I call My Bullshit Bullshit. President Myers has officially unveiled a new megachurch in Salt Lake City. It stands 800 feet tall and can fit about 20,000 of its faithful inside, or approximately 3 Mormon families. The government of the Republic of Texas has announced its border guards will no longer give warning before opening fire. For this, patrols were required to first shout, "Bug off! This is Texas!" Miami has been hit with its 6th malaria outbreak this year and its 2nd month without power. When asked for comment, Florida's governor simply said, "Good stuff." Yesterday, 170 people were killed in a shooting in Chicago's South Side. Politicians in Washington have called it a massacre. Locals have called it a typical Tuesday. The Gulf Coast is in tatters in the wake of Category 5 Hurricane Zebediah. This is already the 30th named tropical storm to pummel the region this year. Unevacuated locals are running low on basic supplies. And meteorologists likewise on main. That is all for this bullshit bulletin. I'm Ruth Zeng. See you next time.
wild, wild twist! I saw it live and wow, just wow. Energy off the scales. Looks like rumors of Carrie's depression were just noisy chatter. That man was electric. The new Ass Crack single featuring Carrie will have its official premiere tomorrow at midnight. If you don't get it, we can't be friends. Whew! After the break, Linda Oz breaks her silence on her former ex. Ooh.
Provides 330% recommended daily vitamins.
Yo, my humor, shroomers, and fumers, Mr. Whitey here. Drop that milquetoast kibble and rush to the nearest store for a taste of sweet, sweet, sweet cool speed. Cause life is too short to be slow.
Rage! Fury! Carnage! Follow your instincts!
It's starting to risk. Available only on Brainbands.
Synthetic meat?
Rage! Fury!
Welcome to N54 News. I'm Jillian Jordan, and this is the latest from around the world. The Lunarinskaya uranium mine collapse that occurred just outside Novosibirsk in southern Siberia has concluded with a happy ending. As you recall, 35 miners became trapped deep underground following a high-magnitude earthquake. But thanks to their Suze 2 hibernation implants, the miners were able to survive without access to food and fresh water for 2 weeks. Fortunately, after their rescue and following a brief rest for technical evaluation, the miners were able to immediately return to work. Moving from below the Earth to above it, Militech has announced plans to establish a new colony on the Red Planet. The proposed base will be subdivided into 3 areas: industrial, scientific, and residential. 10 residential modules are already available for purchase at a starting rate of 100 million euro a hefty price. But can you truly put a price on your security?
Welcome to Safe and Sound. My name is Sergeant Dobbs, and today I'll tell you how to survive on the streets of Night City. Our pal,
Mr. Puggins has plans to meet up with his friend, Mr. Pugberg. What should he remember before he sets out for the day? Most importantly, never leave home without a weapon. You never know when it might get you out of a tight spot. And before stepping paw outside the apartment, check the NCPD bulletin to see if any shootings have been reported and where. But no matter what the reports say, always steer clear of Pacifica and the North Side Industrial District. These areas don't fall under NCPD jurisdiction. Mr. Puggins is now on his way to meet his friend at a bar in Little China. As it's not too far, he's decided it's safe to walk there. But it's not long before he realizes his dumb mistake. Unless absolutely necessary, you should never walk around Night City. Instead, use the NCART Metro or private services such as Combat Care. Oh boy, things take another rough turn for Mr. Puggins. It looks like Watson's been temporarily closed off by corporate security forces. But he's in a hurry to meet his friend, so he decides to leap over the barrier. Another mistake. Instead, Mr. Puggins should call his friend and agree on a new spot to meet. When choosing a new place, Mr. Puggins must make sure to suggest a location that is a meeting place for gangs. At last, Mr. Puggins has reached his friend, Mr. Pugberg. Nice work, fellas.